Hey there everyone, what an absolutely awesome time to live in. We just got Gemini 3 Pro preview and it absolutely nailed everything. And we already have the much awaited Opus 4.5. The biggest good news is the price decrease. You can see Opus 4.1 was $15 per million input tokens and $75 per million output tokens. On the other hand, Opus 4.5 is just $5 per million input tokens and $25 per million output tokens. So it is one third the previous pricing, around 67% price decrease. If we compare this to Gemini 3 Pro preview, it is $2 per million input tokens and $200 per million output tokens. One thing that you have to note is this is for less than 200k context. If you go more than 200k context, the prices goes to $4 per million input tokens and $18 per million output tokens, very close to the static price that Opus 4.5 has. So no matter the context, this is going to be the price. So the price is actually closer for longer context, but for few tokens, it is actually a significant price change between Opus 4.5 and Gemini 3 Pro preview. Anyways, we should be glad that Opus 4.5 has become cheaper. So let's get into the testing. Towards my left, we have Opus 4.5 and towards my right, we have Gemini 3 Pro preview. You can see both have been set to reasoning effort high, and I have also removed any kind of system prompt so that we are able to do a fair comparison. Let's get into the testing because we have some new questions. First off, we are asking generate a photorealistic vector illustration of the PlayStation 5 DualSense controller. So we are doing some SVG based testing in the starting, then we'll move on to different sections. Let me send this to both models. The whole prompt is visible right over here. You can pause and have a look. Okay, we have the responses from both. Remember, towards my left we have Opus 4.5 and towards my right we have Gemini 3 Pro. Let's look at Gemini 3 Pro. So you can see it has got the shape absolutely right. These controller buttons are not attached to the body nicely, but it is okay. You can look at the controller dials and this section over here, the buttons and stuff. Two arrows are missing over here, but all in all, anyone who sees it will understand that it's a PS5 controller. On the other hand, you can look, Opus 4.5 has tried to do good, but the shape is actually not right. That is the first thing that we can see. And also you can see the placement of analog stick is actually not correct. This resembles more like an Xbox controller. I do personally like the button placement and everything, but the placement is kind of messed up, whereas the placement is actually accurate in Gemini 3 Pro's response. So I'll give this a win to Gemini 3 Pro. This competition is going to be tough, guys. Let's move on to the next one. Now we are asking to build the absolute best implementation of a 3D voxel sandbox game inspired by Minecraft. They have to do this in a single HTML file using 3.js. Let me send this. You can have a look at the whole prompt. Okay everyone, we have the responses. Let's start off with Gemini 3 Pro. So we'll preview this in a new page and it says Voxelverse. Click to start. So we'll click to start and this is what we see. Right off the back you can see the world looks amazing and we have trees and stuff. We also have ground. Let's move here and there. So I'm moving and okay. I think I am partially in the ground, I guess. You can see we are able to select different elements that we want to create block of using the numbers 1 to 9. We don't see any guidance for the controls. So the controls were mentioned right in the beginning. So left click to break and right click to place. I'm not able to use left click or right click. The reason is I'm using the Mac trackpad. So we'll have to remap it. Personally, what I like is the trees are very well defined, and also we'll have to fix this, going within the ground issue. So let's fix this and we'll come back to Gemini 3 Pro. So I've given the feedback to Gemini 3 Pro. I've also attached a screenshot showing the issue of, staying in the ground. Meanwhile, it is generating. We'll look at Opus 4.5 now. So let's preview this. It says Voxel Craft. Let's play the game and it's generating the world. And here we have. So you can see it says day 1 and also shows as the time of the day. The controls are mentioned towards the top right. That is nice. You can see we have water and I think ice and trees. The design is not that good compared to Gemini 3 Pro because you can see the trees are not implemented very nicely. But the good thing is we are staying on the ground, not inside it. So that is a good start. You can see we are able to toggle between different elements that we want to generate. And again, we have right click and I think left click over here, which I'm not able to use, so we'll have to remap that. No issues. Let's toggle fly mode and actually look at this beautiful generations that we have. You can see the environments are dynamically getting generated, so it is kind of an endless game at this point. We are clearly able to see the water bodies, landmass and stuff, but I do believe there should have been some plain ground actually. So now you can see I think it is getting evening over here and you can see the color of the sky changing, and now you can see it is night. We have to fix the left click and right click issue, so I'll give this feedback to Opus 4.5. Seems like we have the updated response from Gemini 3 Pro. We'll paste the code and we'll run it. It says voxel verse, and you can see the controls have been mapped to new buttons, that is Q and E. So let's see. So I think it is comparatively worse than its previous generation actually. You can see now more of the environment is actually not visible. We are able to see through these blocks which shouldn't have happened. I do think that we are above the ground, that is nice, but we are able to see through these blocks. For example, you can see this block over here. I shouldn't have been able to see through it. Anyways, let's actually try to make something. So you can see we are able to build. I'm now building the stones, but as you can see, I'm able to see through the blocks, which shouldn't have happened. Let's build some more blocks. You can see we are able to toggle between day and night. That is awesome, but I mean, the see-through bug that we have, I don't like it. Anyways, this is what we have got from Gemini 3 Pro. Okay, everyone. So we have a response from Opus and it has generated 3,531 lines of code. So I'm using a lot of tokens. If you really are enjoying this video, please do hit the like button. So we'll preview this in a new page. I don't know if this very long code is going to work or not. So we'll hit play game and it's generating the world, and this is what we have. Now you can see the trees are actually better. We have some flat ground, and I think again we are able to see through the blocks which shouldn't have happened. Let's try to build something. I'm building using the stones. So now you can see it is somewhere around 6 o'clock in the morning, and you can see slowly it is turning into morning. Let's try to break this tree. So you can see I'm able to break it. So you can see I've been trying to build something, and I think you can see this is a stone wall and this is the glass, and this is supposed to be the door. So I'm not so aware of this game, so it is kind of difficult for me to generate stuff, but it does look good. You can see the trees and sand and stuff like that. Let's enter fly mode and let's see. New environments are procedurally generated. So you can see new environment is getting generated as we move. There is no water though. I think it is all sand. All in all, a good response. Comparatively, Opus 4.5 was able to improve its generation. So this is indeed a win for Opus 4.5. Next up, we are asking to develop a high fidelity clone of Fruit Ninja in Python using Pygame. Let's see if they are able to do this Python based coding. Let's send this and you can pause and have a look at the prompt. Okay, we have the responses from both of them. Let's start off with Gemini 3 Pro. We'll copy the code and we'll paste it and we'll run it. Okay, Python Ninja, press any key to start. So let's start the game and we have a bomb. Okay, I have to be aware of it. You can see when I slice the fruits, we have a sound. Let me see how far I can go. So I think this is a slow power up which actually slows down the fruit. Okay, it is a game over. Okay, so it is a game over. So I don't see anything wrong in it. You can see I have to actually individually slice the fruits. If I slice a bomb, we get one cross. You can see the slow power up is enabled now. Nice, it is a working response. Let's move on to Opus 4.5. We'll paste the code and we'll run it. And this is what we have, Fruit Ninja. Right off the back, it looks awesome. We have high scores, how to play settings and stuff where we can change the volume. Let's hit play. And we have two fruits. Okay, there seems to be a black box around them. That is not nice. Also guys, I've actually found a bug. So you can see you can click anywhere and the fruits will be sliced. See, I'm not even clicking on the fruits. I'm just randomly clicking on the screen and every fruit is getting sliced. So this is a bug. We also have a slow power up, as you can see. No wonder I'm able to get high score on this version of Fruit Ninja generated by Opus 4.5. I do like, the screen kind of shakes when it's game over, but yeah, it is kind of a broken game, whereas Gemini gave us a completely working response. This win goes to Gemini 3 Pro. Let's move on to the next one. Now we are back to SVG based generation. This time around, we are asking them to create a vector illustration of iPhone 16 Pro Max with the natural titanium finish. Let's see if they are able to do it. Okay, we have the responses. Let's start off with Gemini 3 Pro. So okay, when I do full screen, actually it kind of breaks. So maybe I should keep it in in small screen. So you can see we have the three iconic cameras, flashlight, other sensors. The Apple logo is very close to the original one, but not fully nice. So it says 941. We have the island, dynamic island, and other buttons. Over here, things are kind of messed up. All in all, it looks good. Let's look at Opus 4.5. So Opus 4.5 also has given us a similar kind of response. The issue is the placement of the cameras is not very right, and also other sensors are also messed up. The front view also looks better in Gemini 3 Pro. Here we just see some dynamic wallpaper. The dynamic island as well doesn't look close to the original one. So between Gemini 3 Pro and Opus 4.5, I'll say it's a win for Gemini 3 Pro. Let's move on to the next one. Now let's ask them to create an advanced professional grade financial trading analysis platform, very close to TradingView. Let's send this to both of them and you can pause and have a look at the prompt. Okay, we have the responses. Let's start off with Gemini 3 Pro preview. So we'll preview this in a new page and this is what we have. Right off the back, the chart looks good. You can see the candles are updating tick by tick. Well, what I don't see is, the candles actually filling. The candles are just directly getting generated instead of, they filling. Let me see if I'm able to show you. Okay, actually it was getting hidden. Now you can see we are able to appreciate it. The candles are indeed getting filled, but I'm not sure if it's a 1 minute candle. In the time frame, it does say that it's 1 minute, but the candles are getting filled up way faster. Other than that, I think we have RSI over here. I don't see any other indicators. We have the draw option over here. Let's see if we are able to draw anything. We'll draw this trend line. So you can see the trend line has been drawn. Let's see if we are able to draw anything else. It says toggle fib. So I think it is supposed to be Fibonacci. Let's draw this and you can see the Fibonacci has been drawn. We can also clear it. We have a smooth moving average. That is nice. Let me see if I'm actually able to change the time frame. So no, I'm not able to change the time frames for some weird reason. Let's keep this aside and let's try Opus. So let me tell you, Opus has generated 3,893 lines of code, nearly 4,000. So is it worth it? Let's see. So this is what we have. We have different time frames. You can see we are able to change between these time frames. We also have a notification on what has happened. I do think that it's an accelerated kind of, because the candles don't take 1 minute to get generated. We have a settings panel. We do see a lot of tools and stuff. We can change the color of the candles as well. So I'll change the bullish candle to green and bearish candle to pink. So now you can see the candle is a blue and pink variant. Awesome, I do like it. Let's change it back to green and red. We can buy. So you can see if I hit buy, it says buy order executed and stuff like that. We are able to change the time frames, but the time taken for a candle to get filled seems to be same. We have a lot of tools, I guess. You can see we have crosshair, we have trend line. Let's draw a trend line. Okay, a trend line has been drawn. We can hit reset. We have an option to measure. We have an option to add text, but I think that is not working. We can add vertical lines. As you can see, I'm able to add them. We can also undo it. So that is nice. We have Fibonacci. Let's see if that works. And it does work. We are able to draw the Fibonacci and it actually looks even better than what Gemini generated. So let's undo this. We can draw horizontal lines. So these are the two horizontal lines that I will like to draw. Let's undo this as well. You can see we are able to go back and forth using the span mode. Now let's get over to indicators. We have a lot of indicators over here. Let's add smooth moving average, and smooth moving average gets added. Let's add exponential moving average, and you can see at the top over here, all the indicators that have been added are visible over here. That is nice. We can add RSI. Let's get rid of some of the indicators. We have MACD, moving average convergence, divergence, and this is the first model, I guess, which has been able to generate this. Let's see if we are able to change the stocks, and you can see we are actually able to change the stocks. We also have an option to get into full screen. We can draw rectangle as well. So let's draw a rectangle over here. Okay, this is the rectangle that has been drawn. So all in all, it is a significantly better response than what Gemini has given. You can see both are able to get the candlestick pattern right. Opus response has more tools and more indicators and more working stuff. In the prompt, if you have paused and looked at it, we have clearly mentioned that do your best and take it to the full limit, which Opus 4.5 seems to be following. Gemini tries to be efficient, which is a general behavior of this model. We'll be talking about their behavior and stuff in the conclusion, but for this test, it is a win for Opus 4.5. Next up, we are doing some OS simulation in Python. So the prompt is recreate the modern macOS Sequoia desktop experience in a single Python script using PyQt5. So let's send this to both. The actual catch is doing these OS simulations and stuff in HTML, CSS and JS and front end is actually easy. Whereas doing this in Python using PyQt5 is going to be hard. You don't get that fidelity which you get in HTML, CSS and JS. Okay, we have the responses. Let's look at Gemini 3 Pro now. So we'll copy the code, we'll paste it and there is no errors. Let's run this and this is what we have. macOS Sequoia simulation. We have Safari and Terminal and other apps. We have Finder and stuff like that. Let's hit Safari. So nothing is getting opened. Okay. It did take some time to actually, it is not as smooth as I expected it to be. It is kind of maybe using a lot of resources. I'm trying to close it, but I'm not able to. Now I've run the code again. You can see it is showing us the real time. It is 5:17 now. So it is showing that we have the settings and you can see it is showing the exact date and time. I'm not able to close it though. I'm also not able to move it. You can see I can open up notes. It does look like the note app, but I'm not able to move or interact with it. I can open up terminal. So I'm not able to interact with whatever is getting generated. Anyways, this is what we have. Let's look at Opus now. Copied the code and let me paste it. There are some extra stuff, I guess, which we have to get removed. By the way, guys, it is 5,693 lines of code. Absolutely insane numbers. Let's see if it's actually worth it. So we'll run it and I think we have an error. It says an attribute error. Let me first ask this to Opus if it's an issue of not having a library or integral error in the code. So Opus is saying this is an code error and not an installation error. So Gemini was able to generate a response whereas Opus wasn't. So it is going off pretty good for Gemini, but we'll just share the errors that Gemini had and also to Opus to see if things can improve. We have the updated responses. Let's look at Gemini 3 Pro now. So we'll paste the code and we'll run it. Okay, this is what we have. Let's see if it's actually functional. This is the Finder. I'm able to move it here and there. There's nothing in the Finder. Let's open up Safari. It says macOS Sequoia. I'm able to expand and minimize it. Okay, so the minimize button is not working, but I'm able to expand and close it. Let's look at the terminal. Let's type help. So the commands we have date, clear, echo and who am I. So let's try who am I. It says root. Let's type date and you can see it shows the current time. If we type echo, it says no command found. Let's see if clear works. If I hit clear, then it clears it. Nice. We have the notes app and we can type anything, but nothing is visible. I think the font is white as well, which shouldn't have happened. Now you can see if I highlight it, it shows it should have been in black. Anyways, let's see if other things work. We have file and okay, we have two options, but again, they are in white. We have system settings. If I click system settings, by clicking the Apple logo, nothing happens. So none of this in the top is working. This is what we have with Gemini. Let's look at Opus 4.5. So I asked to give the updated function with Opus 4.5 instead of giving the whole code because it is very, very long and it's going to cost me a lot given the price of Opus 4.5. So I have pasted the code. Let's run this and this is what we have. Let me do it full screen so you are able to appreciate it. So Finder is open. We have documents, downloads and all these things. None of it is working and it is kind of obvious. It's not an issue, but if I try to hit anything in the favorites, nothing is working. Let's close this and look at each of these apps down here. So this is the Safari app. I'm able to drag it here and there and let's see if we are able to do it full screen. Okay, we are able to do it. Let's see if we are able to minimize it. Okay, I can minimize it and you can see we see a white dot showing that it is actually open. Let's look at the websites that we have over here. These are the websites which I think Opus might have generated. If I hit Apple, okay, nothing is happening. So we'll try it over here. So we'll just say Apple. It says Apple Wikipedia, maybe apple.com. So if I hit apple.com, this is what we see. A simple implementation, but it is nice. Let's look at what other options we have. We have Google. So let's try google.com. If I try google.com, here you can see the google.com appears. Hi, what is buzzing? Let's try a Google search. So if I hit a Google search, nothing is happening. It's okay. We have GitHub. So let me try github.com and okay, this is what comes up and just some text. We have YouTube. So let's try YouTube. Okay. So it says this is a simulated web page and we don't see anything. Let's try twitter.com. Okay, nothing is there. Reddit.com. So again, nothing. Nice, but it has generated some web pages, which is nice to see. We have notes. Let's see. We have this content over here. Let's try to bold the first line and you can see it has converted into bold. Now we'll change this into italics. Okay, this is converted into italics. Let's underline the bottom one. Nice. Let's create a new note. This is Opus 4.5. Let's see if the search works. So I'll try Opus 4.5, and you can see it only shows the note which has Opus 4.5. If I get rid of it, you can see we are able to see two notes, whereas if I click Opus 4.5, it only shows the one which has this. See, this is the one. If I type open 4.6, nothing is there. So search is also functioning. Let's look at terminal. This is what we have. Let's type help to see which commands we have. So we can list directories, check for date and all of it. So let's look at date. So if I hit date, it shows current date and time. Let's try who am I. Okay, it shows my name. Gemini was not able to get it functional, whereas Opus is able to. So we'll clear this. If I hit ls, it actually shows all of the folders that I have. Let's try to go into a folder, cd downloads, and we are into downloads, and we can see a lot of content over here. Let's make a directory named Opus 4.5, cd to Opus 4.5. So Opus 4.5 named directory is generated in my laptop, I guess. Let me check it. So let's head over to downloads, and you can see actually a folder has been generated named Opus 4.5. Insane. That is absolutely awesome. Let's move on and let's see calculator. So this is the calculator that we have. Let's try 30 times 2 and it works. Let's try 10 percentage. It says 0.1. 40 percentage at 0.4. Minus 40 plus 30 gives minus 10. Nice. Calculator is working. We also have clock, and you can see it shows the actual time, but I'll have to say it also looks like it is showing the correct minute and hour hand as well. And you can see when it's going to be 60 seconds, the second hand correctly completes a loop. That is nice. Clock is working. We have photos and we can zoom and minimize it. We have albums, but I'm not able to get into it. The photos are not working. Talking about photos, we don't see a desktop wallpaper. That should have been there. Let's try music, and okay, you can see it shows recently added music, blinding lights, levitating, good for you. See, these are many popular songs, speeches. So all these albums, songs, radio and stuff is not working. Let's try to play a song. Maybe it plays. Okay, so it is just going past and nothing is happening. But it is nice. At least the app is working. We have the mail app, inbox, and stuff like that. We are not able to open the individual messages, and we have the messages app. Let me try to type a message. Okay, it is not working. I have the launchpad option, even that is not working. Let's try settings, and this is system preferences. We have the option to change light and dark mode, but that is not working. All these options are also not working. So comparatively, I'll have to say that Opus 4.5 has actually done a better job. It generated a lot of code, but that is a working code. Gemini, on the other hand, you can see tries to align with efficiency. This is a point for Opus 4.5. Let's move on to the next one. Now we are asking them to create a SVG of Cybertruck. Let's see what we get. You can pause and have a look at the whole prompt. Okay, we have the responses. So this is what Gemini has come up with. It looks like a triangle with two wheels. I mean, Cybertruck is kind of an angled vehicle anyways. Nothing much more to say. We see mountains and stuff. We'll have to look at Opus response, and this is what Opus has come up with. It, I mean, I can see this is meant to be the trunk, and other than that I am not able to make sense of anything. I mean, both have given a bad response, I'll have to say. I mean, we can say Gemini 2.5 Pro is better, but even that is not good. I think I'll give a 0 to both of them. Let's move on to the next one. Now this one is interesting. We are asking them to create the best implementation of hill climb racing. It is a very popular game. They have to do this in HTML, CSS and JS. Let's see how they do it. So this is the whole prompt. You can pause and have a look. Okay, we have the responses. So let's start off with Gemini 3 Pro now. We'll preview this in a new page. It says hill climb physics. Let's drive this. Okay, it says next snap. Try again. So it is not working, guys. I mean, I'm just starting the game and it's collapsing. We'll have to fix this. Let's try Opus now. We'll preview this. It says hill climb racing, start game, garage and how to play. We have garage and lot of things to upgrade. We have how to play, instructions. Let's start the game. Okay, so the car looks awesome, but again we have the same issues. I mean, I'm not able to start. So we'll have to fix these issues in both of them. Let's come up with a second iteration. Okay, we have the updated responses. Let's look at Gemini 3 Pro now. We'll preview this. Let's hit drive and Okay, we have the vehicle. Let's move ahead. So it is kind of moving, but I don't think the physics is that right. The back tire is going ahead of the front tire. Too much sensitive and actually toppling over a lot. So I'm struggling a lot to actually move. So the physics is kind of messed up, guys. I mean, nothing much to say. Let's look at Opus now. So we'll preview this and it says Hill Climb Racing Ultimate. Let's start the game. And okay, I mean, it is in one place. I'm not able to move. The dirt and the wheels spinning, all of that is nice, but it is not moving from its place. So we gave two chances, but still none of them was able to give us a very good working response. So I'll give this a fail to both of them. Let's move on to the next one. Now we are getting into some website design. They have to build an award-winning landing page for a luxury boutique named Susan Rose. So they have to understand the business and see what kind of website would be best for them. You can pause and have a look at the whole prompt. Let's see who gives us a better response. Okay, so let's see what we have got. Let's look at Gemini 3 Pro now, and this is the website. I do like this SVG implementation of plant kind of thing. It says nature curated. You can see the cursor is mapped into a different icon kind of thing, a circle with an inner circle. Let's explore collections, and if I click explore collection, then it goes into a new page. No worries, we'll head back. It says leaving sculpture and it has tried to come up with the SPG implementation but not that good. Rare finds, the catalog, and these are the catalogs I do like. When I hover over them, it shows add to collection. If I add to collection, you can see it gets added into the cart. Let's move ahead. It says find your match. Let us curate the perfect companion for your space. It says bright sun or dim corner. So dim corner, your lifestyle, always traveling or attentive. Let's try attentive, and this is the plant that it was recommended. If we click start over, you can see the form starts up again. Let's try something else this time, and you can see we get a different kind of plant now, gold dust dracena or something like that. Let's acquire this, and you can see we have two in the stock. All in all, a nice website. Let's keep this aside and let's look at Opus 4.5. So we'll preview this in a new page, and Susan Rose is loading, and this is the website that we have. You can see the leaf petals are kind of falling. I do like that. It says explore our collection. We'll go into that. We have find your plant as well. This falling leaf animation is actually very nice. Let's look at other elements, cultivating beauty and stuff. Susan Rose, Pembertown founder and head curator. And you can see we see an SVG implementation of plant. This section over here, 37 years of experience, 500 rare species and all this stuff, it is not implemented correctly. I'll have to say that. It is kind of overlapped. Let's move ahead. You can see as we move ahead, the petals are following us and they continue to fall. The collection rare and extraordinary. So these are the collections that we have. Let's hit quick view. Okay, so quick view does nothing. Okay, let's add this into the card. It says the plant is added into the card. Let's open up the card then. So I can see that I'm not able to open the cart. That is kind of a bummer. If we click view complete collection, even that doesn't do anything. Okay, that's okay. I mean, there must have been something over here. I don't see it. Okay, you can see there is a coat and that coat is kind of in the same color, so that will be needed to fix. So this is kind of a bummer over here as well. You can see these two vines, I guess, are kind of dangling. That is nice. Now it says discover your perfect plant. We have some questions. What is the natural light in your space? Low and ambient, I'll click that. How often do you like to tend your plants? Daily rituals. What aesthetic speaks to you? Minimalist and modern. Do you have any pets? No pet. Experience level just starting. Let's see the results. So this is the plant that we have, Philodendron Brazil. Let's move ahead. It says what we offer and these are the different services. Again, you can see this text is in white. That shouldn't have happened. These are the testimonials. We also have an option for a newsletter and we have the footer and stuff. So if we compare both the responses, I think both have done a very good job, and at this point it's very difficult to pick any one. Opus had some text issues where the text was not visible and also the cart is not working. So based on this, I'll say that Gemini is better. So we'll give this a win to Gemini. Let's move on to the next. Next up, we are doing a highly detailed vectoral illustration of a sneaker, specifically Chicago colorway Air Jordan 1 high sneaker. So I'm not very fond of the sneaker culture. I mean, my brother is, but I'm not very aware of it. We'll see if it generates a good enough sneaker. That will be a pass for this test. Okay, we have the responses, and as you can see, Gemini's response looks very good. I mean, it's not exactly a shoe, but we are able to identify it. You tell me if this is the correct representation of the exact shoe that was mentioned. Opus, on the other hand, has given us a very small response. I mean, this is the actual image, I actually zoomed in and still I'm not able to correctly see it. But from what I can see, I don't think it is a very good implementation. I think it is a win for Gemini now. Let's move on to the next one. Next up, we are asking build the best version of Microsoft Flight Simulator in one single code. Let's see how they do. Okay, we have the responses. Let's look at Gemini now. We'll open up in HTML viewer, we'll paste that and we'll preview it. Okay, this looks awesome. The clouds are represented through rectangles. Not sure about that, but the flight looks awesome. I'm able to move here and there. You can see the environment is getting procedurally generated, so it's an endless environment. I do personally like that, although I have to say the left and right movement is not that accurate. An awesome response from Gemini 3 Pro. Let's keep this aside and let's try Opus now. So we'll preview this in a new page and flight simulator loading. And what is this? I mean, it's saying stall right ahead, and even we have just started. So I do understand this is representative of a plane, but it is just a simple, I mean, a very simple 3D implementation, and we don't see anything in the background. It's just white. I didn't expect this from Opus 4.5, to be honest. So we are able to move here and there and stuff, but it is not a very good response. Just look at the difference. It is a clear win for Gemini 3 Pro. Let's move on to the next one. Now they have to build a portfolio website for a gamer. The style has to be neo-brutalist. Let's see what they do. By the way, you can see this is the whole prompt. So we have the responses. Let's start off with Gemini 3 Pro now. So this is what has been generated. We can see the characters falling, dominate the arena and stuff. I do think this combat metrics is not implemented correctly. You can look at bot battle station, which is indeed the configuration of the gamer. You can see the CPU processor, the graphics card, and all other stuff that has been used. It shows recent developments and a contact form where we can enter the identity and enter payload. There is a preference mode. If I click it, the website changes into red. There's nothing much happening. This is what it has. Let's keep this aside and let's look at Opus 4.5. We'll preview this in a new page and it's loading. This is the website do we have. We can see the Nexus kind of looks nice. This is very similar to what Gemini 3 Pro did, but I think it's better. We do see a similar kind of background letters falling animation. You can see carrier statistics, and this time the KD ratio, win rate and aim accuracy are implemented correctly. Also, you can see when I hover over them, I do hear some sounds. I hope that is audible to you. Let's move on to achievements, and you can see achievements kind of has a fade in effect. Gaming gear, again you can see all the details are mentioned. Monitor setup, peripherals and audio setup. This I do like. Tournament results, you can see each tournament is getting revealed. We have a schedule option and the schedule of the gamer is visible. This is kind of partners or companies associated with the gamer. We have a settings icon. If we click it, we can enable a lot of things, particle effects and stuff like that. And now you can see we do see particles as well. We have a scroll to the top button. If we click it, we scroll to the top. All in all, it is very nice. Gemini 3 Pro is being lazy, although the generation is good, but it doesn't have much thing going on. Whereas Opus, comparatively, I would say gave us a better response. So this is a win for Opus. Let's move on to the next one. Now let's try some music generation. Generate the most epic music with musical notations alongside it that you can in HTML, CSS and JS and in one single code. Let's see what we get. Okay, we have got the responses. Let's look at Gemini now. We'll initiate the sequence. Okay, that sounds awesome. Let's stop that and let's look at Opus now. We'll have it in full screen. Let's play it. Okay, I don't hear anything. Just wait. Okay, now I'm able to hear it. Let's play it. So I think it is good. It did have some kind of noise and stuff. Let's play this in full speed. I actually like both of them, but I do feel like Gemini 3's post response was actually more coherent. So I'll give this win to Gemini 3 Pro. Let's move on to the next one. Next up, we are asking to create a music visualizer in Python that I can run locally. Let's see who creates better visualizations. Okay, we have the responses. Let's start off with Gemini now. We'll paste the code and let's run it. Okay, we'll have to select a music. Let me select one. Let's play this music, and that didn't run. So I think there is some issue with library and stuff. So we'll paste this error and we'll just say, please fix this and give me complete updated code. Let's see. Meanwhile, let's try Opus 4.5. We'll paste the code and let's run it. Okay, we have to click O to open a file. And I click O, it doesn't work. Error from Opus as well. So we'll just paste the code and we'll just say the same thing. Please fix this and give me complete updated code. We have the responses. Let's try Gemini now. We'll paste the code and we'll run it. Let's select the music. Let's open it up. Okay, it is working. But I think it is too much overloaded. It is nice. Let's look at Opus now. Let's run this. Let's open up a file. Okay, it does show a finder for music. So I mean, I'll have to find out the music. That is going to be hard for me. Anyways, let's do it. Okay, we have got another song.
Is it real? I don't wanna overthink. Is it all for show? I don't know. Feeling like I'm on the brink of something beautiful.
It looks good though. Let's see if it follows the beat.
I know I shouldn't ask you to be open with me when I have my secrets that I tend to keep safely under lock and key. I'm hypocritical, but at least I know we could be beautiful or maybe terrible. Only one way to know. Only one way to know.
So it is indeed following the music.
Which way will it go? Only one way to know. Only one way to know.
But I do personally like the implementation that, Gemini 3 came up with. And also Gemini's response is significantly smaller. Even then it was able to generate this level of code. I asked Gemini 3 to update its code so that the sensitivity is a bit reduced. Let's see. So now you can see it actually looks better, doesn't it? I mean, the previous response was good. That is the reason I didn't do a second iteration with Opus 4.5. So now you can see. I do like this part. So I will give this a win to Gemini 3 Pro actually. Finally, let's get back to what we did and who actually wins. We'll we'll be going through each question one by one. So let's look at the first question. So the first question was generating a PS5 controller in SVG. Clearly Gemini 3 was way ahead. You can see I've written S1, which shows that it is SVG generation represented by S. Let's move on to Minecraft, which is a front end question. Here, Opus 4.5 was slightly better and didn't have the weird issue that Gemini 3 was having. Gemini 3 on its iterative response didn't give us a better one. That is a win for Opus 4.5. Let's move on to Fruit Ninja. We asked to generate the game in Python. I'm calling Python as backend just to differentiate between HTML, CSS, and JS generation and Python generation. So here Gemini 3 actually did a better job and didn't have the issues that Opus 4.5 was having. Moving on to the iPhone 16 Pro Max question. This was a SVG generation again, and actually Gemini 3 did a better job. The placement of the cameras and everything in the camera bump was actually better in Gemini 3. Also the dynamic island was better. Moving on to the trading dashboard, here Opus 4.5 did a phenomenal job and gave us the best response that I've ever seen. Moving on to the macOS simulation in Python, here actually Opus 4.5 did a better job simply because it generated very long code. Gemini 3 has a lot of laziness and doesn't want to generate long code, which actually hinders its performance. Opus 4.5, we saw that constantly it was generating 3000, 5000, nearly 6000 lines of code while keeping things consistent. Moving on to the Cybertruck SVG, both were not able to give us a good SVG. In the hill climb racing test, again, both were not able to give us a working response. Talking about website generation, we generated a website for a plant nursery named Susan Rose. Here, Gemini 3 personally I think was better in design. Next up was the sneaker SVG, generating SVG of a sneaker, especially Air Jordan. And here as well, Gemini 3 was miles better. Talking about the flight simulator game, here Gemini 3 gave us a very good response, Opus 4.5 not so much. Next up, coming up with a gamer website, portfolio of a gamer. Here Opus 4.5 again did a good job. Music generation is something we were testing. Personally, I thought Gemini 3 was better, but one can have different views. Talking about the music visualizer, again Gemini 3 was better and I liked the design more. So if you look at the overall space, you might be seeing many people doing SVG generations with Gemini and saying that it is better. Gemini 3 does have some freshness to it, but I personally think that Opus 4.5 is better when it comes to front-end coding. And the scores also show that. Talking about the backend coding, which means Python based generations, I think Gemini 3 is actually better. Although I have to say that both models actually perform very close to each other. The differences are Gemini 3 is very lazy and doesn't want to generate long code. But the positive side of it is it will always try to focus towards efficiency. Opus 4.5, on the other hand, doesn't feel shy to generate long code as we have prompted in all of the prompts. As we saw, if we consider pricing as well, Gemini 3 is actually cheaper. So I hope this gives you an idea of where things land. Opus 4.5 doesn't seem to be a very significant jump in front end design or back end compared to Sonnet 4.5, which was already good. The agentic performance and stuff is something that we have to look at. I'll see if I can make a video. I hope this information is helpful to you and you get some insight out of it. If you enjoyed this, please do hit the like button and hype this video so that more and more people are able to watch this and subscribe for more such content. With that being said, I'll catch you guys in the next one.